CFG GameCast, episode number 100, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Saturdays and release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and so on. So show us some love. Give us a follow, a like, a comment on any podcast services out there, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Oh, not too much. There's a lot of my arm movements on Facebook, just a heads up. Yeah, this week was busy. It was jam-packed, and I played lots of games. I am really liking White Day, a labyrinth called School. Some of the ghosts feel like a little bit of an afterthought. Some of them. There's, I think, too much information given. That's for sure. There's so much context. And it's like, what does this have to do with anything? But I am really digging it. And it's pretty interesting because you can play it without discovering the ghosts, or you could do it while discovering them. And it's pretty interesting. It's a cool insight. That and Mr. Hop's Playhouse too. I was excited all week to play that last night, and I loved it. And then time just gone, and I was like, "Oh, I'm done."
Oh wow! Well, that's cool. Did you finish it? Did you finish it, or like where were you at right now with it?
No, with Mr. Hop's Playhouse 2, I would say I'm 50% done because I do have to go back and get a couple of the medallions. And I knew like I had missed them, but I didn't want to have to bother everybody with going back and doing that level. So I knew where the medallions were, but I died, so I skipped a few of them. But yeah, I would say about 50% because I still have to go back to 3 levels and get medallions. But I'm on track to finish it with all endings, which is great.
Oh, nice.
And I'm playing this game blind. I didn't look at anybody play it. I didn't want to know.
How many endings are there?
4 or 5.
That many? I was going to say, it's like, is there the what? It's like, I would be.
There's a magic ending, like a magic shell ending, like the regular ending, like happy and sad. The F this, I'm out ending.
The last time I played White Day, the last time I played White Day was literally 3 years ago. Because I think there's a White Day 2.
Too.
Yeah, there's a White Day 2, I believe, that also came out. But that game is pretty fun, I will say. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, at least. Yeah.
The mermaid on the rooftop.
Yeah, that's so we'll see. We'll definitely see. But no, that's good. It's really, is it how many OPs is it going outside of the room though? Is it freaky or what?
Well, I would say OP for White Day, she hears there's a crazy audio in this game. Just some of it is off the wall, hinky, and she's like, "Oh, I don't like that. I'm out." And I'm like, "Nothing's even happened." She's like, "Don't care. I'm gone." So I'd say OP's given it an 8.5. So far.
Oh, wow.
She'll just leave. She's like, "Nope, the music's coming." I'm like, "Wait, don't leave me." She's like, "Bye."
All right. But you know what, Lex? Do you know who likes White Day, but also was designed as a me character?
Oh, I know. The 5-star?
The 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I'd like to welcome Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, Smitty?
Yeah, we're back. Episode 100. Never in a million years, you know what I mean, when we first started this and just conversations leading up that we would still be doing it here 3 years later. So, you know what I mean? I'm super proud to be a part of this and, for everything that we're doing. Thank you guys for those out there that listen or watch, again, thank you guys for being a part of this and it's awesome. So, it's been pretty busy for me. We had a baby shower today. So we went and did the baby shower thing here a little earlier. Gaming wise, I've been playing some New World. I'm enjoying that. Again, I'm not a big MMO RPG player. but I wanted to give it a shot. I feel like it's solid, and this is going to be that one big, Amazon game that comes out. We know Crucible ended up flopping, unfortunately, but I feel like New World, they're really on to something good, and I did end up pre-ordering it. I don't know why I'm a fool, but I did. Because I'm going to try to put that time in.
You are the poster boy child of FOMO. That's what you are right now. That's what you are.
I know. So that, and then obviously Destiny. We started a little bit of a Doki Doki Literature Club as well. We ended up getting Plus. So we can play it on the PS5. It's something I tried to with Scorp Kitty, at least a game that we can play together and stuff like that, or a family game. That one's obviously not a family game.
That's definitely not a family game.
Yeah, that is for Scorp Kitty and I after the little's in bed. But yeah, so things have been and then busy work stuff and whatnot. What about yourself, man? I know you've got a lot going on.
Yeah, I love your buying mentality. I love it, especially when you told me yesterday that you bought Call of Duty and Battlefield one year and you didn't play either of them, which is crazy.
It's so dumb. I'm not getting Call of Duty this year. I'm going to get Battlefield 2040. That game looks so good. I'm excited to play that.
Yeah,
I really need to stop buying games, so dude, I am a terrible human being.
You're a monster when it comes to buying games. They'll be like, "Oh no, here's that Smitty. He has that new fresh money this week. We know we got him if we reserve a game." So we'll go with that.
Got him.
So yeah, I've been busy as always, man. It's been going pretty well. We were off last week because I ran a fighting game tournament for charity, which actually went incredibly well. I was actually surprised. We were able to raise about $2,000 for Extra Life last weekend, so that was really great. So so $8,000 away from our thing, and it's really freaking awesome. So looking forward to November. That's going to be really crazy. But yeah, so thank you for the people who participated, who entered the tournament, and the people who did donate. And then we're going to be doing the shirt orders here very soon after we get some of these technical issues with Extra Life done. But yeah, and then I'm also been setting up for some really cool interviews getting ready for PAX West in about less than a month away. So it's going to be very hopefully there's not a lot I can talk about yet on that, but hopefully by then I'll be able to get some of that stuff going. So, so I've been pretty busy for the most part, but the big thing is I'm really glad that we hit I can't believe we're at episode 100. It's funny because the idea of doing the podcast originally was with me hitting up Smitty after I just met him. And I'm like, hey, I want to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast about just gaming news. It's would you be interested? And he's like, yeah, okay, cool. And it's basically been growing, man. It's been going really well. So yeah, so we'll do it as long as we possibly can, man. So thanks for everyone that likes to geek out and talk about some cool topics with us. So, but anyways, let's get down to it. Let's stop getting reminiscing past memory lane. We have a lot to go by with this time around. So each of us picks a new topic of discussion within the previous week in video games. The topic would or could be about a specific game or something that happened in the gaming industry itself. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want the viewers of Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live to be a part of the conversation. So if there is something that you want to add or chime in about what the topic is, by all means, just type it inside the chat. We would love to. We always keep an eye on the chat to see what's going on, and we will add you into our conversation itself. And I don't believe I said who's going first and stuff, but I think we'll take care of the big elephant in the room, which is obviously, the biggest story is about the Activision Blizzard news, which I will do. So earlier this week, the state of California has issued a statement in suing Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, because of, I like to call it, the dude bro mentality of the working place, So so the big issue is there's a lot of different kinds of accusations that are coming in that was coming into the into this. So the specifics is this: the Department of Fair Employment and Housing are the people that are pushing is trying to hold Activision Blizzard accountable. And to be honest with you, there's so much about this that I really can't cliff note this. So there's going to be a lot of reading, and I will do the reading itself, because there's just some footnotes, which I will eventually, I think this week, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the whole deposition of what they put in, and I want to talk to one up lawyer about it. But but here's some of the cliff notes. So so most of it is going to be on Kotaku's website, but it just, some of the stuff that they're being accused they're being accused of is just, it's sickening, and this is what makes it kind of like real about it. So basically, like, I'm gonna try to do the footnotes of it. And this is all in the paperwork that they filed in California. So this is quote by the state of California, and I'm reading it verbatim. So in the office, women are subjected to cube crawls in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office, and often engage in inappropriate behavior towards female employees. Male employees proudly come into work hungover, play video games for long periods of time during work while delegating their responsibilities to female employees, engage in banter about their sexual encounters, and talk openly about female bodies and joke about rape. So that's so that's one of it, so that's one of the things here. Then the other ones, they were saying, like, female employees are subjected to constant sexual harassment, including having to continually fend off unwanted sexual comments and advances by their male coworkers and supervisors, and being groped at the cube crawls and other company events. High-ranking executives and creators engage blatant sexual harassment without repercussions. So they've been sent out to HR. HR does nothing about these advancements. They either sweep it under the rug, or something, or they just say they just gave the people a slap on the wrist and stuff like that. In particular, but this is the craziest one. And like, someone killed themselves because of this kind of work environment. A female employee committed suicide during a business trip with a male supervisor who had brought butt plugs and lubricant with him on the trip. Like, for real? It's like, are you freaking kidding me? So they said, so basically what happened was, during that trip, those people, they were sharing nude photos of this woman, and sharing it amongst themselves. And then they, like, in these circles, so they basically were shaming, were shaming her. Basically, like, who's going to take a person seriously after showing nudes and stuff like that to it. Right. So then, so that's what's crazy about this. So supervisors ignored medical. So other things were, like, supervisors ignored medical restrictions given to female employees and give them negative evaluations while they were out on maternity leave. Other female employees reported that they were criticized for leaving to pick up their children from daycare while the male counterparts were playing video games, and female employees were kicked out of lactation rooms that are meant for women who are lactating for their babies. And then they were using them as where employees could use them for meeting rooms. What is going on, dude? Seriously, what the hell is going on? And it's not like Activision is a small company. You're telling me Activision doesn't have space for this nonsense? Freaking insane. And then also they were saying that it was even worse for women, like African American employees, especially African American women that were there. So they felt. So an African American employee noted that it took her 2 years to be made into a permanent employee, while men hired after her were made permanent employees half the time faster. So around 6 months to a year, they were getting pushed over. She also was micromanaged such that her male coworkers were known to be playing video games without any interventions by her supervisor. But her supervisor would call and check on her if she's on break, or if she's out of her office for a long period of time. Or the worst part is this: when she called out for time off, reason, like, she was calling out in advance for vacation time, they asked her to write a 1-page paper on why she is leaving Like, why is she going away? Yeah, I know, right? To away while people at the same situation weren't going through those standards as well. So there's a lot of, I mean, those are some certain kind of things, and I'm just like, yeah. Ravage pretty much says it pretty well right over there. And I'm just like, it's like, I like when you hear stuff like that, like when you, I mean, we've talked about, Riot Games was like its toxic culture, and Ubisoft also had the thing about their toxic culture as well, not that long ago. But when you hear like the things that like the deposition that they're blaming Activision, and it's not just the women, because the women aren't the ones that are doing this. This is the state. They've been investigating this since 2018.
This isn't
stuff
the class
like that.
action.
It's not class action. It's the state government itself that is pushing it on them. Like they're forcing them to do back pay and stuff like that to the people that were affected by all of this. Like, so the women weren't the ones, or the people who are being hit by this have no control over what's going on. This is something that was totally separate, which is insane to me. Like, I have never seen that kind of level of dedication towards that kind of this kind of behavior. So but in a minute I will tell you, like, to be fair, I will say what Activision said back about this lawsuit, but I kind of want to get y'all's opinions on what the hell's going on with this.
Go ahead, Lex.
I'm angry. It's sick. It's really sickening. I mean, and it's funny that it's not a class action. It's the state of California, which means that there are women who are putting up with this and not just leaving their jobs, but fucking sticking with it. And I can say from a personal experience, sometimes when this stuff happens to you, you're almost in shock and you're like, is this really happening right now? Or like in the moment, it doesn't feel as degrading as, like, you internalize it. You're like, oh, I'm the one that's making this situation out to be X, Y, and Z, and then like further, like thinking back on it later, you're like, no. And it's worse than what I initially reacted to it. And it as someone who has been sexually assaulted, like, you're going to joke about rape, I'm going to break all my nails on your face. Like, that's it. If I worked for this company, I'll tell you right now, I would be in jail for having hands, because there's only so much I can put up with. And I don't know how obviously one woman killed herself. I mean, that just shows to the extreme that this goes. And, I would say this, a lot of women have really tough skins. And sometimes I think we pride ourselves too much on having such a thick skin. Oh, we're used to it. We hear this, we hear that. No, it's not okay. And this shouldn't be okay. And it's sickening.
It's sickening. And sorry to cut you off, but Reed Cooper said, I really don't know what to say, and the fact that this has to go to court is disgusting. And which is funny you mentioned that, Reed, because apparently what they were saying about this was that they were trying to settle this before it got to court, like between the state and Activision to go to court. The state wants hush to be no, it really wasn't more hush money, but more like they wanted to hold Activision more accountable to these situations, because it's like towards this more. But then they seemed like they were at an impasse, and then they were like, okay, well, it's gotten to this point, we're going to have to sue them. And that's what happened. So, well, Activision is already pleading not guilty, which I will say in the statement here, like their statement, to be fair, to be as transparent as I possibly can be about this. So, Smitty, what do you think?
Yeah. So, like you're saying, this is, the fact that a work environment exists in such a major company is not only appalling, but there are individuals that have allowed this to and helped to perpetuate this kind of just environment as a whole. I know that there's a lot of people too. Some of the first like knee-jerk reactions were like, I'm uninstalling BNet, this and that. And from my perspective, again, these are individuals that did this. And I feel like, holding those individuals in the, harshest way that they can be held accountable. Absolutely. But as a company, there's a ton of people that had nothing to do with this situation and whatnot. And I don't feel that it's right to punish them for the actions of some idiots.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in a way, you're right. But at the same time, this shows a systematic issue of a higher level issue besides just the bad apples. I mean, they got away. They're getting away with that level of freedom to do that. The environment is toxic. That sounds like
I agree. No, and I agree 100%. But I mean, a lot of times that is the leadership allowing this stuff to go on and then sweeping stuff under the rug. You know what I mean? That is transpired. That starts from the top and then goes down. Absolutely. As a company, I feel like you got to completely wipe out that whole upper echelon of managers and things like that. If they're not gone, I don't know. You know what I mean? Are you really learning anything? But to allow this kind of stuff, dude, I could not even imagine. I've worked in an environment that was kind of toxic, and had some toxic players and stuff like that. And once those people were gone, the environment very much did change. Obviously change is hard, but to allow, because I don't believe these companies started out like this. So it's like, it's also looking at where exactly was the turning point to where this kind of stuff was celebrated and allowed by people. Cause there's always a starting off point where, something slides a little bit, then it increases and it gets bigger and bigger, the snowball effect, to the point where literally people, and the other disturbing thing to me too is the fact that there are individuals that have gone through this stuff, and it's the state that is bringing this about. You know what I mean? Not those individuals. So it's like, what kind of pressure were they under themselves? I know that, that obviously isn't an easy thing to be able to just come out and do, especially when you're dealing with these monolithic almost, and this, companies, or at least that like, that's how you see it. And it's just, I mean, this is just disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting that this is even a thing. In
a different kind of like, turn of the spectrum, I will say, because Duchess has some kind of does have an outside view of this, which is a very viable view of it too. Because I mean, we've seen this before, but he says, imagine someone creating a hoax and accusing a random company. That company closes down and never opens again. Innocent or guilty, company destroyed, which basically is saying, like, okay, so we're casting a lot of doubt, and then we're like saying, and then people, a lot of people are like saying, like you were saying, uninstalling Battle.net, all this stuff, well, canceling Activision and stuff. But in reality, we haven't proven that it's all true. And yeah, you're right. But my counter to that is saying this. I'm not saying stop your Activision stuff. For me personally, I'm stopping because this is one too many times I'm hearing Activision doing this crap, like this stuff. I mean, for a long period of time. But I am saying this: if the state is going to court on this, like, if they're suing them for this, and I'm not saying that they're guilty on this, because you're probably right. There are going to be those people that are going to be taking advantage of the situation that the company is in, and they're going to try to be on bandwagoning on it. But the biggest thing is the fact that, like, if they have a case, they've been working on this for 2 years. They have people on record. And I bet you, I mean, because if people are like me, I have paper trails for this kind of stuff. I'm sure they have some of this kind of stuff that I feel that they're not 100% in the clear on this. So, like, I will still say that for now, I will like to keep the open mind of like saying innocent until proven guilty. But at the same time, like, when you look, like, when I heard the conclusion of what they were saying, like what Activision said, just felt like simple, like PR BS. And then they're not going to take any kind of hold accountable, which makes me even more angrier, because, like, look at it last year. They paid Bobby Kotick $200 million, barely passed in their own chair towards this, and then people were already talking about disparages of wages on this. They've been busted on this because of, remember, Infinity Ward's whole thing, but with the creator of Respawn leaving because that they didn't get their bonuses from the game what Modern Warfare 2, as well as all these other different kinds of things that kind of happened. It's like things like this doesn't just happen, you know. You said, right. I mean, you're setting yourself up towards all of this. So like, you know what? Come to think of it, I guess it's the best time to really say to read it. Companies had to close because of accusations like this, and in the end, yeah. I mean, but you're keeping the open mind, but and it's your total right to do so. But like at the same time, if someone, I'm only reading what's inside the deposition. This is not this isn't like opinions of it. This is someone that they were quoted against. So this is not me putting my opinion on this at all. So like, here you go. Just want to alliterate that point. But this is what Blizzard said back about the lawsuit here. This is a little wordy too, so give me a minute. It says, we value diversity and strive to foster a workplace that offers inclusivity for everyone. There is no place in our company or industry or any industry for sexual misconduct or harassment of any kind. We take every allegation seriously and investigate all claims in the cases related to misconduct action and taken to address the issue. The DFEH, which is the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, includes distorted and in many cases false descriptions of Blizzard's past. We have been extremely cooperative with the DFEH throughout their investigation, including providing them with extensive data and ample documentation. But they refused to inform us that the issues they perceived. They were required by law to adequately investigate and to have good faith discussions with us to better understand and to resolve any claims or concerns before going to litigation. But they failed to do so. Instead, they rushed to file an inaccurate complaint, as we will demonstrate in court. We are sickened by the reprehensible conduct that the DFEH is to drag into the complaint, the tragic suicide of an employee whose passing has no bearing whatsoever on this case, and with no regards for the grieving family. While we find this behavior to be disgraceful and unprofessional, it's unfortunately an example of how they have conducted themselves throughout the courses of their investigation. It is this type of irresponsible behavior for unaccountable state bureaucrats that are driving many of the state's best businesses out of California. That's one paragraph. The other one that says, the picture the DFEH paints is not the Blizzard workplace of today, which kind of is a weird statement to me, which is like, so this is so
you're acknowledging
like,
something.
So,
you're acknowledging that this
it,
was, yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, so wow. I was just like, wow, okay. So you said it may have happened in the past, but not right now. Over the past several years and continuing since the initial investigation started, we've made significant changes to address company culture and reflect more diversity within our leadership teams. We've updated our code of conduct to emphasize a strict non-retaliation focus, amplified internal programs and channels for employees to report violations, including the ask lists with a confidential integrity hotline, and introduced an employee relations team dedicated to investigating employee concerns. We have strengthened our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and combined our employee networks as the global level of provide additional support. Employees must also undergo regular anti-harassment training and have done so for many years. First off, I will say this. We have strengthened our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion and combined our employee networks for a global level. I feel that's a lie, because like I said, they were literally busted. They were literally busted last year about wage disparity, like literally busted last year about that. And then the second thing was that they like I said, they gave a huge gain on Bobby Kotick, who's the top man of Activision themselves, like $200 million. Let that barely passed once again. So I'm just kind of like, some of this stuff is kind of 50-50, you know? I'm just, so I'm just kind of, so basically, I mean, and if you want to read it for yourself, I'll put the link inside here because there's a little bit more, but I won't go into it further. But this is, like I said, full transparency of what they were saying back. They don't believe that the state has anything to hold back on, which I believe that's we'll see how it's going to go. It's going to, I feel it's going to get messy, but whew, boy.
Here's so Multi Dutch has made some points in the chat, and not to, I'm not going to sit here and just say like all men are trash and this and that, but I've had some of the same interactions with, well, he's walking away now, with Smitty, with people. Oh, it's okay. You're okay. Smitty and I have some same friends, right? We live in the same town. We run into the same people. And I've had sexual harassment thrown my way from said people. But with Smitty, they were absolutely, just normal old dude, bro. Or, here's the thing. Only about 10%, and that's 10% of sexual assault and or rape cases are found to be fake later. I feel that a lot of the times, throughout my life, I've had 2 jobs that I didn't get sexually harassed at by a supervisor, by a manager, and I am nothing to fucking look at, and it happens, I think, a lot more than we think. And, from the perspective of somebody who's been there, I find it hard that there are so many cases brought up and then, lives ruined over something. And I'm not going to sit here and like man hate. My dad was accused of something that was found out to be true. There was camera footage of my dad at the time he was supposed to be in a situation where he's walking out of the library at NYU. The cameras caught him. So obviously he wasn't there, right? But if we have all this evidence over many years that something's happening, I'm going to say, ding, ding, something's happening, right? I mean, in the court of public opinion, unfortunately, cancel culture does suck and it does happen. But I'm also not going to sit here and tell every woman who is brave enough to come forward that I don't fucking believe her. Sorry, I'm not going to do that because I don't know what she's been through, what happened. I wasn't there, right? But I'm, again, like you can always have your own opinions. I just think, sometimes we let stuff slide. I mean, I had a supervisor tell me that I could get more shifts if I went in the back with him.
Yeah, but this is I said, like this is
he didn't touch me.
Yeah, but I mean,
it was offered. That's sexual harassment.
Yeah, but when we have to switch over to like when it comes to this kind of deal, this is a really big and serious accusation that can really mess with like everything that will go. If everything is straight, especially when they were saying the point when they were like saying this is not the culture that Activision is now, is like, well, how long has it always been that way? Yeah, it's like there's a lot of different things. Like, yeah, you may be going through the right steps, but like this group is still saying that they're still holding y'all more accountable towards that, especially if they're forcing you to do back pay for those issues, So it's like something else is up.
Some sort of class action lawsuit that all the females in the company who have been wronged are
it's
coming
not even just
forward.
Females.
This is, of course. And I mean, men can get sexually harassed too. I've seen it. It's not funny. And unfortunately, that gets swept under the rug all the time. Well, if she came at me like that, I'd say this or do that. No, you wouldn't. You weren't there. I'm not surprised. It makes me angry. I don't play Overwatch anymore because of the culture that's in that game. And that was really my only Blizzard game that I played. I don't play anything else. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm going to boycott because that takes away from the things that the women that put up with this did create, right? But there's nothing I'm interested in at the moment. So I'm not going to be partaking. I just think,
Yeah. I mean, I just think, Smitty, do you have anything to say?
It's all the same that everybody's saying. And kind of like Zuzu's saying, like the fact that the state's the one that brought this in and have been doing this. I mean, through that, even through their response, they basically said, hey, yeah, we know that this has been going on. But nowadays, things are a lot better. You know what I mean? It's like for it to get this
it would be going to court, I feel like, right?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, you can easily, especially that, sweep that stuff under the rug, throw some money at it or something like that. It's way, you know what I mean? For it to get to a level where the state is coming after them, you know, it had to been rampant and has affected a ton of people. And they already have solid evidence to be able to bring something like this anyway. You know what I mean?
We're claiming that they do.
Or we're just saying, you're right. That's just speculation and conjecture on my part. That is not, you know, I'm very much let the thing play out and see how it goes before, you know what I mean? Again, I feel like a lot of people want to have that knee-jerk reaction before everything gets laid out. You know, this is one that I'll watch closely, and I'm sure many people will be, just to see exactly how it plays out and where the cards fall when it's all said and done.
Right. So, yeah, well, for me personally, I think I'm done with Activision for right now. I mean, like, the only game I was really playing on Activision myself personally was Heroes of the Storm, but like, I think it's time to kind of put that down on the reins. I just need to see like a good reason, especially when we were talking about like, you know, the craziness that Turducken had to do about his account, and he ended up not getting his account back, you know, and he still went back to it.
He did get it back.
He finally got it back. Yes. Okay. So crazy twist. So they weren't going to give it back. And then after we had that episode where they were like, we're bragging because we banned this many people who were cheating, he ended up getting his account back.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
He gave it to him back. It was
but how long?
But
how long did that
I know
take?
why he didn't. I don't know. However long the guy was under that in the pub
months,
crawl. Obviously, he was I mean, their whole service team must be doing the cubicle crawls, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's why he didn't get his account back. No, he got it back. What, a couple weeks ago?
Oh, so we just got it recently. We did that. We did that podcast like 3 or 4 months ago, and
was it?
And during that time, and during that time, he was already in the hole. He was waiting 2 months already on that, so he waited almost 6 months to get it back. Yep. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So like, I'm just saying, like, I mean, with all this stuff, with that, the Bobby Kotick thing, the way
June 17th.
Yeah, June 17th. That's when he got it back.
Is when he got his account back. Okay. Yeah, just random.
So yeah, it's ridiculous. So like, then plus, like, you remember, like, I mean, then you have all the other stuff with like I said, with the Bobby Kotick's BS, and then as well as, you know, the limited information with what's going on with Blizzard and they're changing and stuff. I'm not feeling it. I mean, I don't play Call of Duty already. I don't play Overwatch. I mean, the only thing if anything, I would play Diablo, but who knows when that's going to come out. And I don't know if I would want to pay full price for it, because I don't want to support it kind of deal. So, and
I understand too, like the people that play WoW, because you're actively paying a subscription fee. That I can't understand too. You know what I mean? People are like, nah, I'm not gonna actively support them in those. It's like, I totally get that.
I love that statement, Zakar. I would say that Kotick, like, saying that he's fought discrimination his entire career. Hey, do you remember last year when that one dude from Beijing says free Beijing from China? And you remember like what Activision Blizzard did to that guy, as well as the people, like the director, the commentators and stuff. They banned him. They banned him for life originally and stuff like that, because he was going by free speech that should have happened. But apparently they wanted to have good ties with China, and they didn't back that dude up. They dropped him like a dime because of money. So So Bobby Kotick can just go F himself, is the way I look at it. So yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I mean, like, that's just how I feel. Like, I mean, if you're going to treat people dirty, you're going to treat your fans dirty, because you know how bad that was with the people who heard that story, and then the uproar that all happened. Then they did that half-assed apology at BlizzCon that year. No, they can screw themselves. Yeah, they can definitely. They've
had so many missteps. They've had so many missteps. So you're like,
I'm done with this nonsense. It's like, there's no reason for it.
And I feel like the people of old anyway have moved on, or not even there, You know what I mean? They've been gone for a while, or they've been like, you always know when you start seeing these top dogs dropping off and stuff like that, there's something internally that's going on that these people are having to be like, deuces, I'm out. I'm getting as far away from this as possible. You know, so it'll be interesting to see too once everything gets laid out. Things are out in the public sphere, even being able to see, you know what I mean, with these people, because right now they probably can't even talk about that stuff due to the litigation. So it'd be interesting after, you know, on the aftermath to see what that insight is. And it's a crazy situation. It's absolutely disgusting, especially for that. I couldn't imagine working for a place that was like that and doing those kind of shenanigans. That's just absolutely disgusting.
I would love to see what One Up Lawyer's views are about this too. So guys, if you want to check some more information, go check out his page, One Up Lawyer. And if they're going to do it tomorrow, it's going to be really cool. So there you go. That was pretty good. Let's go with Lex.
Yeah. Hi.
You're muted.
No, I'm not.
Oh yeah,
no,
I was like, we're talking.
She was just smiling.
Oh.
She was just smiling.
Oh, she was like moving her
I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not.
I was like, oh, okay, my bad. All right, what do you bring to the table, Lex?
So, New World. Let's talk about it. It's a new game.
New world.
Don't you dare close your eyes.
It's a fantastic game to play. It's breaking all of your cards. It's breaking cards. So we all know that if you're in the PC gaming world, cards are expensive. They're expensive. It's a buyer's market right now it's the company's market really, because they're just jacking up the prices of cards right now because everybody needs them and wants them, right? Well, the latest and greatest has already been released. We have the 3080s, the 3090s from NVIDIA, and a lot of people are playing the New World beta. Well, 3 days ago, a tweet came out from somebody who was like, hey, just a heads up, my computer is now bricked. Well, my card is my 3090 that I paid $2,000 for. Oh my God, I vomited a little bit. So what's happening is there are two settings that you have to change, not just one, but two. So there's a max frame rate in the NVIDIA settings that you have to disable. And then on top of that, in game, you also have to change the FPS or it will brick the cards. So basically what's happening is these cards are being overclocked and then they get fried, it's just scary, especially for a game that's not fully out. It's just, it's an open beta, but still, people are paying $2,000 plus for these cards and they're getting fried. Are you joking? So it doesn't look great on Amazon's part. Because, it's not just an issue with the card itself. It's an internal issue within the game. And they didn't say anything to anybody about it, which I kind of found a little, really? You guys, had to have known.
Well, what Ravage is saying is that it says that it seems like it's only on EVGA cards. I don't know. I didn't know this was an issue at all. But, still, but this is what a beta is. This is where you show the kinks and the glitches. Now, the problem of this is that the thing that glitch is a $2,000 graphics card to play this game. But I will say that it was So but still, it's like this is what the beta is meant to do. It's like, hey, this thing is going to give your cards a death wish if you do it this way without unlocking it. So, but yeah, I've never seen an issue like that, like to something to brick your card though. That's insane.
I haven't really in a while. So Zukara asked he said he didn't ask. He was like, I thought it was only affected for one specific model. I thought so too, but I'm seeing people that don't have EVGAs that have stated. I found a Reddit thread, but the first one that I noticed on Twitter wasn't a 3090, it was a 3080. And the thing is if when the 3080 and the 3090 came out, if you had an NVIDIA card, you were excited because that meant updated software for us, even with an older model. So the fear was, well, if this is happening to newer cards, it could possibly also happen to an older card because it's the same software, essentially. But I think since people have known about it, I mean, if you have a special card, you treat that baby like a baby, you kiss it to sleep. If I paid $2,000 for a card, I would kind of be like up on the know for as far as like if there's any issues. And of course, when something like this happens, even if it's just one, that's kind of like a scary thing. And Amazon hasn't really had a win for a while in the game world. So that was a little like, ooh.
But I mean, like I said, I mean, Smith, you have your opinion on this?
Yeah,
or?
Of course I have an opinion about this.
Good. Shut your mouth.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think that a high-end card is having an issue. I've got a 2070. I didn't mess with any of the settings, and I have had no problems whatsoever. It has run smooth as butter. So to see this, you know what I mean, is definitely problematic. And this is kind of a weird one too, as far as with that. I didn't realize that a game could even do that to a graphics card to where, you know what I mean? So like, and I know that they had put something out and they were trying to say that it wasn't the game that was doing it, but they put a hot patch it out to cap the FPS on the game for this. So I think there was a little bit of back and forth between New World and obviously, cause then you're also looking at NVIDIA too, being like, wow, dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, what is this? Like to where this is able to crash and burn a card. Like I didn't even know that, was a thing. And I imagine that there's a lot of people that didn't realize that. So there's definitely the ball drop, as far as with that. I don't know then if it is found that this is a New World issue. Could you then be like, look, I want compensation for my fried card that I had.
Is that right now?
That's what is. Yeah, I was like, and I imagine that's going to be the next step if they can prove that somebody messed up, and I'm gonna need a card back because not $2,000. I ain't losing it like that, son.
Yeah,
we've been out long enough that if there was another game that did that, we'd know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
You've had that in your PC long enough. You've played your array of games on it. Of course you did, right? So it's kind of like that's weird. There's a max frame rate on this, and it overclocked it. Wow, interesting. So there's kind of like a back and forth right now. If Amazon's going to cover the cards that have been bricked,
damaged.
Essentially.
Well, Nomad Joker says hopefully they fix that before the game's official release. I'm sure they will, but the biggest thing is like
they already put a patch
I don't think like I mean the biggest thing is that if they will admit fault to it and to prove it, it's going to be the biggest issue.
Well, exactly. Whoever admits fault is going to be paying out some money to somebody, guaranteed.
Because it's like, but like, I just find it very insane to think that a game is what, like, it just seems like it was maybe something like they put a 1 instead of a 0 on an algorithm or something because for it to auto detect, framelit or like, uncapped frames and stuff for an issue like that to happen. That's what I find very crazy. Because wow.
Knowing that, but this is closed beta, so this has been running through alpha and this and that, and we haven't had any of these issues. So how? I mean, how is that possible?
You can only do so much with alpha. Alpha, it's literally like it's a small pool. It's a ridiculously small pool,
right?
Like, especially so like this is what I always find very funny about it with MMOs because it is virtually impossible to have a clean release on an MMORPG because you don't know what to expect for it. Like an alpha, it's literally 100. It could be 100 people. If those 100 people were playing in a closed environment with a card that didn't get affected by this glitch, they'll think it's okay. So then they move it up to the next level, beta. The beta testing close the limit, but it could be up to like 2,000 or 3,000 people doing it. And then if it's a closed beta, with multiple different kinds of computers instead of a closed environment, that's when you can kind of see a little bit more bugs. But even that will won't have all the bugs and stuff exactly. So it's when the game comes out. Like, I mean, look at Outriders. I mean, Outriders Outriders was playing really smoothly before during the beta. They didn't hit any of these issues, but then once it overcapped, it's like, then they're like, oh my god, it's like that's when they're like that. They try. You can only do so much until you're like with the information that's given to you until you roll it out. And then, but like in the history of like MMO releases, there hasn't been a clean release ever.
No, but you also have to remember a lot of these people that are testing like in-house, they don't have 3090s. They don't have 3080s. They don't have the latest and greatest. They have really good graphics cards, of course, but I'm sure like the company isn't like 3090s for everyone. They were hard to get in the first place. And I did find the article. Forbes wrote that it was a specific one, but there since have been 3080s that are not in EVGA that have been bricked. But I mean, even someone like me who streams, I got a really good deal on this 2070 from a friend that now it's pretty much tripled with what I could resell it for now. But I love her. She's going to stay. I mean, these people, of course, don't have like the best of the best. Not to say that, it couldn't happen to
I'm still sporting a 1080 Ti.
I know.
That's before a 2070, and it's like it's a 5-year-old card, but it still works really well. It's a top of the line card.
You're on a single-use PC, right?
Yeah,
you're on just a single. Yeah,
there's no justifiable reason for me to use dual PCs. There's not really, to be honest with you, there's not a lot of people that really need it per se. Not saying there isn't, but per se, but still. But so no, I like it simple. I don't do a lot of crazy stuff when I stream, so I could do it. And then but once it's normal, once I can just go to a store, go to Micro Center and say, hey, my good fellow, I have a lot of money. Would you like to, it's like, I'd like to buy a 3080 without cutting my hand off. Then I'll be like, okay, here you go. I can wait. I am in no hurry at all for that, for the push on that. So there you go. So good one, Lex.
That was crazy.
Smitty, why don't you close us up off on this whole deal?
Yeah, we're talking, and they just announced it here a couple weeks ago that that Netflix is hopping into the gaming sphere, and they are, and this kind of like, to me, this totally makes sense too. You know what I mean? They've already got the infrastructure, and I think this could be a solid. I think this could be a solid thing as far as with gaming, cloud gaming, them into hopping into this space. They're going to be starting out with mobile games, focus on that. It'll be included in the Netflix subscription already. So we know then out the gate, and this is why already this is better than Stadia, in my opinion. You don't have to pay anything extra to already try something.
Like every time.
Will, because dude, every time, as soon as they announced their stuff, I was like, that sounds so bad. I was like, that does not sound good. Why did Google do that? They just wanted to be first.
Smitty will be like,
I'm sorry.
So the announcement is like, this will come with a controller. Then Smitty will say, oh, that's already better than Stadia. That's your go-to already, man.
I'm sorry. This is what, but this is, I think this could be potentially good. They just the company said they hired former EA and Oculus exec Mike Verdu. He was with Facebook. That's for Oculus. To head up the gaming side. So I feel like, especially with them diving into mobile gaming first, I think that's smart. I'll totally take a look. It's going to be part of the subscription anyway. So I'll take a look, but I don't see this not then moving and evolving into, you know what I mean? Bigger games and stuff like that. This is a direct quote, from its a letter to their investors. We're also in the early stages of further expanding into games, building on our earlier efforts around interactivity such as Black Mirror, Bandersnatch. If any of you guys played that or went through that, that was awesome. There's a couple of other things like there was
well, there was going to be a Stranger Things game, but then they got canceled because of Take-Two, or what's it called when it closed down? The people who did Telltale.
The story, Telltale.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we know there's also it says in our Stranger Things game. We view gaming as another new content category for us, similar to our expansion into original films, animation, and unscripted TV. Games will be included in members' Netflix subscription at no additional cost, similar to films and series. Initially, we'll be primarily focused on games for mobile devices. We're excited as ever about our movies and TV series offerings, and we expect a long runway of increasing investment and growth across all of our existing content categories. But since we're nearly a decade into our push into the original programming, we think the time is right to learn more about how our members value games. Yeah, smart. It makes sense. And they do streaming well. They've been doing it well for quite some time. So I feel like this is going to be a rather seamless transition for them. And I'm really personally excited how well they do it and then seeing how they expand. Because, again, we know that things are starting to lean more and more. I think there's still time out there before they get it really solid, but things are starting to lean more and more into cloud gaming. So it makes sense for them to be able to offer that. I think at some point in time, they will start charging extra for their games. I think it depends on the popularity, the level. If they start building and creating their own games, I think that will have an influence as far as with that. But this is a smart move on their part.
I don't know. Well, it's a smart move that they're starting small. I will say that. They're not doing what Google did was basically jump into the deep end and then start doing AAA titles for consoles and stuff like that. They definitely are doing good with the idea of starting with something that's more manageable, and more cross-platform for their, like you're saying, like for Bandersnatch and stuff like that. But I would say this though, it really depends. Like I don't know, what they are expecting, I guess an example of the kind of games I'm thinking that they're going to make. It's kind of like the Adult Swim games that they have on your Adult Swim games started on your web browser. And then they started moving to your consoles and stuff like that.
Right.
It seems like now the bet on that now is, I guess, is going through your iOS and stuff. And depending if it becomes popular enough or not, I just feel like this is going to be another excuse for them to jack the price up of the Netflix monthly charge. I mean, and I don't know if it's something that they say, if it's just a necessary thing where they're going to be like, oh, it's going to be bundled into your Netflix account automatically. It's like, well, what if I don't want it? At all? It's like, so
it's kind of
so I'm kind of impartial on what to expect about it, because I don't play iOS games anyways as it is. There's one game I play, I think it's called Bricklayer, the one with the ball that deflects and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't play anything serious because I pretty much think that iOS gaming it's definitely not for me, and I don't really value it. So So what were you gonna say, Lex?
Adam plays a ton of cell phone games, so for us paying for a Netflix subscription, he might really enjoy that. I don't think any of his games are going to be on there, but here's my thing though. It kind of feels like, remember when you had to get internet with a landline? You had to buy the landline. It's like, but I'm not going to use it. And they're like, well, you have to if you want internet. It's like, well, that's stupid.
That was stupid.
I think that if they're going to raise the price for this new service, it's got to be this is an option if you want this for $14.99 or whatever a month, plus you get this, or you pay just the $9.99 for the regular Netflix, right? Cool. I'd be fine with that. It's not really something up my alley, though. I mean, that would be more him. Stranger Things 3, the game wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything to write home about. Because when you mentioned that, I was like, I've played that. I have it on my PC. I never finished it, and I'm one that finishes games. Darn it.
But like what Unknown was saying, though, is like saying they have the money to make it work, but then look at Stadia, which I really wouldn't compare where what Netflix is doing to what Stadia is doing. It's just Smitty just likes to be a jerk and like to add Stadia and drive that truck right over the bus on this dead platform.
I call that day one, dude. I call that day one, son.
He already said DOA before he even opened up, so I definitely will say
making people pay for a beta. It clearly is not ready. True. Get out of my face.
Then also says I would imagine that they would be making the gaming division. I think it's still too early to tell on that, but I really think the reason why they're doing it is exactly what the third thing you say, which is like that, or use it as a reason to raise subscription prices. Like, and that's what I think is like the I see more liable more on it, because I mean, I think
it'll be broken out though. We'll see. Like Lex was saying, like I can't see that even if they did, I can't see them not have that as an option. Because you remember when Netflix actually came in the mail and then you'd send it back and stuff like that. You could get games through that. So I think it'll be something that if they're smart about it, like, hey, if you want this added eventually, but I'd love it to just be like, again, if you're going to do that, then, here's the base price. And I do think that they'll eventually end up raising stuff. I think they'll end up raising stuff anyway, just because of the original content that they're creating now. You know what I mean? They're having to put a lot more in themselves to be able, instead of them just housing and paying for other people's content, they are now working on creating their own content and going bigger and doing more as far as with that.
Heck yeah. I mean, Sweet Home, I recommend that every chance I get. Like, do you like scary stuff? You want to see something that was actually really well produced, that was like an online comic? That is wonderful. I mean, they went from CGI to claymation to like SFX makeup. I mean, all in like a 30-second shot. And I just sat there like, as someone who loves doing SFX makeup, just like, oh my God, that was phenomenal. And I rewatched it like 6 times. I was like, Adam, get in here, look at this. They're cranking out some really good material. Ow, my plate just clicked. Did you hear that?
I heard it. I heard it.
That was my metal plate says hi, guys.
That's crazy. Wow, be careful.
That was a metal plate. Oops.
Man.
So, it better be optional. If you're going to raise my prices for something I'm not using, I'm good.
That would be the best way.
My mom has already bought my Netflix password. Sorry, not happening.
Yeah, I doubt that's what's going to happen, because I don't think anyone in their mind will be like, "Yeah, I want to have that separate." But still, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll go and see. We'll see how far they're going to go, and we'll see what kind of games they're going to play. Because the biggest thing is what's if they're going to make the games that are going to be like the freemium, not the freemium games, but the games where you have to draw for cards or draw for chest and stuff like that, and stuff like that. The ones that never end, but it's just countless money chipping in for no reason.
Money or time.
I'm good. Yeah, exactly.
If they did something along the lines, now, like, let's say further down the road, like this gets kicking, right? If they did something along the lines like what Microsoft does for like Xbox Game Pass on your PC, I wouldn't be mad at that. For an extra $2 a month, like you basically get like an Xbox Game Pass. I'd be okay with that. But other than that, I don't. It's like I pay for Xbox Game Pass, so why?
I don't think I would be okay with that either, though, because like I said, I don't play any phone games like at all. Like there's no reasons for me to pay the extra $2 even if it's low.
Mobile gaming, you got to remember too, mobile gaming has a huge community. And I really see it as Netflix just tapping into a community that people are already bought into some of their ecosystem and stuff like that. So this is an easy, get them in there, get them. For me, it's going to be really, what kind of games are they going to be bringing to the table? Are they going to be producing and making? I imagine that's the route that they are eventually, that's the long-term plan, is to be developing their own games and stuff like like that. But I'm curious to see, what they come out with, especially the quality of mobile games. Cause a lot of them either just want your money or they just want your time. And they're just never ending, loops. So, I think this could be a possible good opportunity for them, to really get their foot and get their feet wet in the gaming sphere, and I'm excited to see what they've got planned as far as with that stuff.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, like you said, that's like an untapped market. I mean, every day, when I wake up, he's on his phone playing his game, and they're fighting or doing whatever, all day long. He's just fighting his little guys. Yeah. So I mean,
or sexy
chicks coming out undressed.
I think it's all good. I mean, I think it's a natural transition for what they're needing to do. Because it would have been more criticized if Netflix opened up a game studio and they'll be like, "What the hell is this?" But I mean, this is Netflix's way of saying dipping their toe in the water just to see how it is in the world of gaming, which I can't fault them for. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yep.
All right. Hey, Lex.
Yeah.
What do you have planned for the week?
Ooh, well, it's bestie night. So after this, I gotta go see her. We're gonna watch some Skyrim stuff. But I think this week I'll probably finish White Day, or maybe I won't, and I'll be genuinely surprised. That game's really good, man, and they've redone it, but not to where, like, visually it looks better. It's been more mastered. But when they redid it, they changed the way some of the ghost things work, which I appreciate. Like, give me a little surprise and I can't find it online kind of stuff, which I like. And then hopefully finish Mr. Hops too. Mr. Hops Playhouse is scary and it's fantastic and it's creepy and I love it. And Opie, she was watching last night and she'd look at her stuffed animal and then look at the thing. She's like, what is happening? I'm like, she enjoys watching it.
What movie are you going to watch tonight?
We're gonna watch Quiet Place 2. Yes, because she watched it last week while I was doing her nails. Nice. So tonight we're gonna watch the second one because I haven't seen the second one. And then
I haven't either.
I
didn't watch the first one. I never watched the first one.
Oh,
you should check it out. Yeah, you should check it out.
Yeah, no, there were parts where I would stop and she goes, "Why are you stopping?" I'm like, "Because you're about to jump." And she was like,
Is it better than I Am Legend?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. I'll just take your word for it. We'll see.
John Krasinski. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's a great. It's as far as horror is concerned, like horror and suspense. Like if you're not going to give me a lot of like blood and guts, like that's fine. But genuinely scare the crap out of me, and a lot of the times I can figure out what's going to happen at the end of the movie. I ruin it for myself.
That's on Paramount Plus, right? I believe it's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
so
you can watch both. I haven't watched the second one yet, but the first one is so good. Oh my god,
Paramount Plus is probably my favorite service out of like the.
Every week you're like, you should watch this on Paramount.
Paramount Plus is great.
I think I have that. I think we watched. I think we've been watching the Harry Potters. On Paramount Plus, I believe it's on there.
Netflix now. Oh no, you're right. It's on Paramount. Yeah. Potter, all the whole series.
They just have a lot of good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. Like, it's like at first I hated going on CBS Plus or All Access, whatever it was. But whatever they did with Paramount Plus, they decided to say, you know what, we're just going to unleash the Kraken. Really good.
And it sucks because now we have it, and so Brandy's like, you can't watch this or this without me. I'm like, okay, fine. So every week, I guess I'm going to have to go over and we're going to watch the American Horror Stories because that's on Hulu, Paramount.
Yeah.
So that's the other one that we're watching is that, which the little girl, I say little girl.
No, we're not sponsored by it, by the way.
No.
Still, it's good.
This is free advertisement, you guys. No, but I mean, that's what we're going to do is every Saturday, I guess, is watch American Horror Story and Evil, which is really good. And that's got a new season. Evil was fantastic.
Was that M. Night Shyamalan?
No,
with the elevator.
it's
a different one.
No, that's Devil. That's Devil.
That's Devil.
Oh,
I haven't seen that. So
I like that. I did.
I want to see that one too. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been waiting to watch that.
Smitty,
I want to watch this new one.
What do you have plans for the week?
Yo, we're on full on baby mode, so
Yeah.
I got a bassinet that I need to put together and just chilling out and stuff like that.
I'll help you out.
What do you?
I love building stuff. It's like I'm like that.
Lex, you can come over. You guys are allowed to come over and hang out, dude. You don't have to come over to do something.
I know.
Just
Like, you guys are allowed to come over and just come and hang out.
Give her some Lincoln Logs or something. I don't know.
The coolest Lego castle ever.
Yeah, so we're doing that, and then we've actually been working our way through the Harry Potter series. We just finished Order of the Phoenix, so we're getting close, but that's been a lot of fun. And then I think, I got a Metal Gear Solid 5. I think I'm gonna get back on it this week because I am so close to the end. It's literally just like the harder missions I've already done that I need to finish, and then the game, and then that's the official game over. So I'm looking to get back into that, and then I'm sure I'll be playing some more New World and stuff as well. So yeah. And then obviously the Destiny grind. So
are you gonna let Lincoln watch all of Twilight now that it's on Netflix?
No,
she's like 6.
No. What?
PG? Right?
No. No.
Maddie says to you, Lex, that you can build all his IKEA stuff because he hates it.
That's the worst.
Call me. I love IKEA stuff.
Oh god, you're crazy.
What about you, Davis? What do you got going on, brother?
I am going to go to this week. I'm going to hopefully play some more Monster Hunter stories. Hopefully finish it this week. So we're going to finish that up. Then I've been procrastinating on it, but I really want to finish the Yuffie story.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
You call me?
Yeah, but like every time I wanted to play, but it's like, but something came up, so like I had to stop and readjust and stuff. So, but then after that, I'm going to get ready so we can do the second event that we're going to be doing for Extra Life. So we're gonna see how all that's going to feed out. But yeah, but definitely digging Monster Hunter Stories so I can finish it up, play some actual PS5 games again. So let's get that. So let's go. So guys, thank you for listening to episode number 100. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. As always, we will be back next weekend again. If you did miss this episode, that's okay. You can check us out Monday morning when we publish this out on any podcast services, or like Apple, Google Podcast, Stitcher Radio, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, for every episode out there for the past 3.5 years. There is no excuse to not hear our sexy voices. So definitely, yeah, exactly. So definitely we'll be back again next week with some more awesome topics with y'all. But guys, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.